What's going on, you guys? Welcome to the first episode of Fourth and One. I'm joined by Chris Gonzalez. Sorry, I kind of jacked that up. Also known as CG Ruthless. And he's here to join us today to talk about the San Francisco 49ers, talking about last week's game and the game coming up against the Los Angeles Rams. Chris, what's going on, man?
Doing well, man. Hey, we got the schedule figured out. We can get to that recap about that Vikings game.
Dude, that was a tough game to watch. And now that we've seen a lot of video breakdowns, and you know what's funny is that it feels like every YouTuber thinks that they're like an ace at breaking down video. It's funny. Some guys are really good at it, and some guys you're like, what are you doing? Like, you're not even, like, you have no idea what you're talking about. But still, it is what it is. But there's a lot of video that's been broken down on a lot of different shows, a lot of different forms of media. And I think there's a lot of issues that the Niners need to clean up because they should have won that game, but they didn't because of a lot of mistakes and miscues by not only the offense, but a few by the defense as well. Before we look at the stats and really break that down, Chris, what was your take on the game against the Vikings?
What was the take on that game was, like you just said, the flaws of this game that really hurted us was because our offensive line wasn't quite stepping up as good. Like, they were really surrendering some pressures. Purdy was getting hit a lot. I mean, it's kind of hard for this guy to make some time on the pocket. I mean, it was just a little off, especially and especially how everybody's pointing Brendo. He's not the only one that had the issue. I mean, you had McKivitz, and I don't want to throw this guy's name, but Trent Williams, really?
He had a rough game.
Yeah.
He had a really rough game, and, overall, I thought that, I felt the line was going to play really well going into this game because, without Danielle Hunter on that defensive line, I just thought that, hey, this is an opportunity for them to really not only find more success like they did against the Jets, but, to improve on that. Instead, it went the opposite direction, and they played like shit. The defense that Flores set up with all the different blitz packages really, really fucked with them, and their communication was terrible. And it showed. I mean, we get a lot of free rushers coming at Brock, and they need to really clean that up because it was a huge issue during the game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what else was worse? Kyle didn't even freaking run the ball as much. Like 20 carries with Mason. You gave him 28 the other week.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because when you look at the way Kyle coaches, right now, I think Kyle Shanahan is an outstanding coach. I think he's borderline excellent. If you were to say, "Hey, you know what? I don't like what Kyle's doing. We can't win the big game. Let's get rid of him and get somebody else." Who the fuck are you going to get that's better than him right now?
That's what I've said. That's
Nobody.
What I've said. It's going to be hard.
Unless they fire McVay, but even then, you're getting the same type of scheme with McVay. Look, the point is that Kyle Shanahan is an elite head coach. Does he make mistakes? Yes. Do we all make mistakes? Yes.
We're not perfect.
We're not perfect, but I think the problem with Shanahan is that when he gets down, he tends to get very impatient, and on top of that, he starts to air the ball out. And that's been sort of a big problem with the Niners offense when they get down early or they're kind of in a close game with the other team. So let's take a look at the stats and let's break down the game on Sunday, this past Sunday against the Vikings. But before we do that, guys, quick shout out to a sponsor of the show, which is SeatGeek. Use promo code DreAreaSports to save $20 on your first purchase over at SeatGeek.com. So if you're looking to go to SoFi to help take over that stadium, go to SeatGeek, use promo code DreAreaSports and save yourself up to $20. Okay? And on top of that, this show is brought to you by BetUS. Use the link in the description below. And that is a referral link. So use that link, and then you can make a bet, or you can start an account over on BetUS. So definitely check that out. And also, we're brought to you by Power Brand Systems. If you're looking to have a website built for your small business or your YouTube channel, or your social media account, and then check out Power Brand Systems. Use promo code 300POWER and save up to $300 on your first purchase over at Power Brand Systems. If you want an example of how good of a job they can do on your website, well, check out my website, which is Nicotina.net. That's the homepage for all 3 of my channels, including Dre Area Sports. Communities are available on there. Definitely join that. Chris over here, he's on that community as well, so you can interact with him. But like I said, Power Brand Systems will deck you out with a dope-ass website, so definitely check out Nicotina.net to see what they can bring to you, and check out Power Brand Systems. Okay, so let's take a look at these stats, because, I mean, the stats were almost misleading in a way, and I'll show you why. Okay, so when we look at this, right, if you would have told me that Brock Purdy was going to throw 28 of 36 for over 300 yards with a touchdown, and Jordan Mason was going to run for 100 yards and a touchdown, I would have said, oh, yeah, Niners won this game easily. But they didn't, because of a lot of mistakes. One mistake, stat-wise, was that Ty Chandler, 10 rushes for 82 yards. The guy was averaging 8 yards a carry in the second half. That cannot happen against a team this loaded like the Niners.
Nah, especially with them running the ball, it kind of wears out the defense. And then the worst part was the miscommunication with the defensive coordinator. What was he thinking, trying to put a safety on Justin Jefferson? I'm just scratching my head about it. Like, it's like
that whole play made zero sense. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
It's like I'm getting back with PSD, man, with the Randy Moss, now the Justin Jefferson play, man. Come on, man. Like, what was the? It made no sense to put a safety. You should have put one of your corners out there, if anything else.
Well, they did a switch off, but the problem is that Jair Brown broke in to cover that crossing route when he should have stayed on Justin Jefferson. That's like, if there was any player out there that was a superhero besides Fred Warner, it was Justin Jefferson. Like, don't lose sight of him. And the fact that they let him get over top, it looked so bad. And not only that, but Jair Brown and Odom's coverage on him post or prior and after the catch looked dog shit. They were just they're kind of running around like, where is he? Where is he? It's just like, oh my God, dude. Like, I could have provided the same amount of coverage that they provided. It was terrible. And in reality, it felt like that was the difference in the game. We lost by 6. If that touchdown never happens, we likely win this game.
Yes, we would.
That was a dagger. And look, hats off to Sam Darnold. He threw an absolute pearl to Justin Jefferson, and he had a good game. However, I mean, he threw an interception, a bad one, and then he had that stupid jump shot that he was trying to give to his running back, which was like, what are you doing, dude? So he was giving you opportunities to blow that game open, but the Niners just couldn't capitalize.
Yeah, they couldn't capitalize it, and plus, I don't know, just something about playing at Minnesota just seems like a curse.
Yeah. It really does. I mean, I knew going in there that the crowd was going to be super loud and super ruckus, and it was okay, we have to overcome that. But that didn't really happen. So looking back on these, the other thing that surprised me was Aaron Jones. He ran for 9 rushes for 32 yards. They essentially shut him down. But when you have Ty Chandler running for 82 yards in the second half, like, I'm sorry, man. Like,
that's a disaster. That's a
disaster. It's like, oh my God. And this guy, let's take a look at this guy, Ty Chandler, right? Out of North Carolina. He was a 5th round pick. And I want to say, let me see if I can find it. For his career, so he's averaging, well, this year you can't really count him in 2 games, but 4.5 and 3.3. And he was averaging what? In that game, he was averaging 8 yards in that.
Yeah, 8.2 in that game. But I think seeing him out of college I liked him as a receiving back too.
Yeah, 8.2. There it is.
Yeah,
that was awful.
That was a big chunk of plays right there, averaging 8.2 yards a carry. That's a huge chunk, and plus that defense just didn't get disciplined on stopping the run. So you've seen that from that side of the game, and that was a difference. Like, if we can't slow down the running game, I don't care who we are, bro. If we don't, like you said, the stats. Brock Purdy had a good stat performance, but even the running game was good, but the defense made critical mistakes. And you saw Brock Purdy made a critical mistake on the interception. And that was a little bit costly, but you look at how that could have determined the outcome if he would have played it more right, or if the offensive line was just on point, on blocking better.
Yeah.
But they were just getting beat, man.
They were getting beat. And like I said, hats off to the Vikings. They played a great game, especially defensively against the Niners. But my thing is this, is that if you know that Flores is going to be sending you all kinds of crazy blitz packages, then just start running the ball. And typically when you run after pass rushers, it's one way of eliminating the pass rushes by running the football, especially it wears them out. It makes them have to tackle. Look what they did against Sauce Gardner. He got fucking kneed in the shoulder, and he was out for like almost the entire first half after that. So I think that's where they kind of missed the ball. And on top of that, look, I get it. Like last year, the Vikings were ranked 24th in pass defense. So I think they took it to heart and said, hey, we're going to come out throwing the ball because that's where they were weaker. They were 8th in run defense, the Vikings last year. And so I think they were really game planning off of that as like a, kind of like, okay, they're weaker against the pass than they are against the run. But the problem is that you just came off a game against the Jets where you absolutely dominated on the ground. And you established that Jordan Mason is a force as a running back. And the O-line looked amazing. Yeah, so for me, I would have started the game off running the football more and try to establish that running game and let the O-line get into that tempo, get into that feel of like, let me open up holes. Let's get moving again. But when you start the game by going 3 consecutive pass plays and then a punt, to me, that was the totally wrong way to start the game.
Yeah. I think we should have just drew up the running game a little more and then at least have a chance to open up the play action a little more. But I think that was the issue. Like you just said, they were weak against the pass. And the Niners just thought, let's just pass the ball towards them more. But in that situation, if we would have ran the ball, we would have ran the clock a little bit more. And Mason was actually averaging 5 yards a carry. So, like what were we thinking? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like he's averaging 5 yards a carry. That probably could have been more if he got more touches. I just think that they abandoned the run game too early. And every drive they had, it took forever. There were long drives. We got David Corona here saying, what up, everyone? 49ers all day, every day. That's what we do here. I agree. Go Niners. But they just had opportunities to win this game, and they just didn't do it. Now, this is what I want to go to, the receivers. Okay, you got Deebo Samuel, 8 catches, 110 yards. He was balling out there. He was doing everything.
Yeah.
George Kittle, 7 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Again, he was balling out there.
Yeah.
What pisses me off is Brandon Ayuk, 4 catches, 43 yards. And really, they were like 4 of the most quietest catches that I could think of. I know in the second half, late in the game, he caught a couple of balls, which was like, oh, cool, there he is. But it almost felt like too little too late. And this is a guy that we're paying, or I should say the Niners are paying $30 million a year. Chris, what was your take on the performance of Brandon Ayuk?
It was so disappointing, man. But I expect him to get it together because he needs another week of practice to get clicking. But what was so disappointing was we stopped going towards Jennings after that, man. We should have at least tried to go with Jennings at those points. But I think Ayuk just needs to get a groove on, man. I think this is the perfect time for this Sunday's game for him to get his to prove otherwise that he's worth that money. Realistically, he ain't worth 30 million.
No, he's not. And I think, well, I mean, I shouldn't say he's not. When he's good, but right now he's not because he missed a lot of time. And so that's why it's important for guys like this and for the organization to get these deals done, get these guys in camp, and get them working out and kind of getting their rhythm back with their quarterback like Brock Purdy. And it's really come back to haunt them. And I think that in the first game, because you had 2 guys doing that. You had Trent and you had Brandon Ayuk. Both of them look rusty. Both of them look tired. Now, in that first game against the Jets, I thought Trent looked great. But the problem is that after 1 week of having not done any of that for how many months? After week 1, I think it took a toll on him, and then when he got into week 2, he was like, "Oh fuck," It's like when you work out and then you go back the next day, you're like, "Oh God," you know what I mean? Like I need more time to recover, and so I think that's kind of what he was running into. He was like, "Oh my God, like this is He was running out of gas early, and I was like,
game shape.
Come on,
game shape does matter. Game shape does really matter because you want to have that stamina to keep up and all that stuff. And what you saw on Monday Night Football, you saw at the end that Trent just got himself an IV or something, so you knew he was dehydrated or something. So then the other game, you can tell his body was taking a little bit of a toll. But I feel like if he would have just put some work in, man, I don't think it would have been a problem. But I don't understand how some players just want to hold out and get all that money, man. Why not you just put in some work, man? So you don't get behind and be a little rusty.
Well, and I get there's that, that, what do you call it? There's that risk that you could injure yourself in camp, in practice, and then all of a sudden you're out for the year and you're like, oh, wait, I still want my contract. And they're like, well, you're hurt. I don't know. So I get that. But, I mean, look, dude, look what it's done. Brandon Ayuk was almost invisible.
Yeah,
and the Niners are paying him $30 million a year, a 4-year, $120 million contract. And this guy is not getting separation. He's not. I mean, there were plays, and I will say this, there were plays where he was open, but because of the pressure that Brock was facing, he looked confused. He looked, unsettled. And to me, this really sucks because I think a lot of teams are going to look at what they did and try to emulate that when they go against the Niners. Like, okay, how do we confuse Brock Purdy? Okay, look what Flores did. Now, how can we do that? Now, obviously, you got to have the right personnel to do what Flores is doing, and it's something that they've been working on for the past 2 years, I want to say. So he's had time to kind of install that type of defense. But I need to see more out of Trent Williams and Brock Purdy. Week 1, I thought Trent looked good. Week 2, he just looked tired, and he looked gassed.
Yeah, he did. But I think the best way to beat a defense like that is we should have just kept running the ball. Yeah. That would have been the best way to beat Flores' defense because they were giving up 5 yards to carry with Jordan Mason.
Yeah, I mean, in the second half, they did a better job at stopping the rush. But still, at that point, it's kind of like, dude, just keep giving him the ball. I mean, the guy is huge. If he gets a seam, he's going to take advantage of it. And that's the difference between him and a lot of the other running backs in the league is that he's one of those running backs where he has that vision. He can see the cut lanes that he has to hit. And so that's where he's, in that second tier upper echelon compared to some of the other running backs in the league. Like you saw Garendo get one carry and he cut in when the hole was supposed to be on the outside and he got no gain. And after that, Kyle's so impatient. He was like, get him out of the game. I don't want to see him anymore. And then Jacob Cowing, he fumbled that punt. We got it back thanks to Isaac Yiadom, who had 2 fumble recoveries. But to me, the player of the game, originally I was like, dude, I think Debo, but Fred Warner. This guy was flying everywhere, and he got an interception and a fumble. This guy is amazing. What did you think about Fred Warner's performance on Sunday?
If it wasn't for Warner, we would have lost in a blowout because Vikings had every opportunity to score. They were in the goal line situation, and that fumble by Aaron Jones was a huge difference between us losing in a blowout or actually being in this ball game. And then the interception by Fred Warner, they were really close to the end zone. And that was a changer right there. So Warner made some nice tackles. He's been very consistent. So yeah, there is a difference between being blown out and actually being in this ball game. And Fred Warner's one of them dudes.
Absolutely. So a few more minutes on this segment. Let's talk a little more about that game. I thought that going forward on 4th down 3 times, I didn't get that. The 4th and goal, the first 4th down that we went for when it was 4th and goal, I'm like, dude, come out in goal line formation, give it to J.P. Mason with Juszczyk as a fullback, and just pound that fucking ball right in. There's no way they're going to stop you. Instead, what do? They come out in shotgun. So right away, it's like you come out in shotgun. You're not going to do a delayed handoff to Mason. He is not even a threat as a receiver. So him being in the backfield is just there for a block. But then by you coming out in shotgun, Van Ginkel, who's already coming in off the edge, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to make sure I get my hands up because he's probably going to throw the ball there in shotgun. And what does he do? he gets his hands up and he deflects a pass that probably would have been a touchdown if he didn't get deflected, and then it's a turnover on downs. And then what happens?
Yeah.
That leads to the 97-yard touchdown of Justin Jefferson, which was like,
That was a momentum right there. That was a difference in that game. Yeah, but like I thought they should have ran it. You know, I mean,
I would have ran the ball.
You gotta pull a Dan Campbell. I'm gonna be honest, man. Like that just seemed a little bit Dan Campbell-ish. At least you should have ran the ball. Wasn't it like 4th and goal, like somewhere in between where it was definitely manageable for Mason to break into the end zone?
Yeah, I was like, dude, you're right there. Just give him the ball. And if they stop him, they stop him. But don't let them stop you on a deflected pass. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. And I felt like, look, I like that he went for it, but I didn't like the play that he chose, the play he went with. And not only that, but you're leaving points off the board. That could have been an easy chip shot, and that's 3 points right there. There were 2 other 4th downs that they could have been playing to get Moody in field goal position to kick field goals. Now, if you hit that one and you hit one of the 2 4th downs that they went for later on in the game, then this game is tied, and we lost by 6.
Yeah, it would have been tied, or at least we would have been in position to score a touchdown. So it would have been one or the other. But yeah, but we made some critical mistakes. Kyle was trying to pull a Dan Campbell, man, which was ridiculous. Like, like come on, like. Remember that time in the conference championship, we thought this game would have been over, but Dan Campbell was being too cute.
Yeah. Oh my God, Dan Campbell, he totally fucked that one up. I was like, "What are you doing, dude? Like, why would you?" They had that game.
They had that game for sure.
And then he kept going for it on 4th down. I was like, dude, I get your aggressiveness. I get you wanting to go for it on 4th down. I'm talking about Dan Campbell in the NFC title game last year. But it was kind of like, bro, you have an opportunity to put points on the board and just to win this game. And he's like, we're going to go for it. It was like, what are you doing? And then they kept not getting it and giving the Niners the ball back, and they go down and score. The craziest part about that game was when we went up 10 points in the 4th quarter. I was like, oh my God, we have a 10-point lead and we were down how much at halftime?
17. Yeah.
17 points. It was like, what the fuck just happened? It was crazy, man.
It looked like halftime this could have been a wrap, but I was like, shit.
So we know about all the injuries with the Rams. We know about, the Rams are pretty decimated. I know that Jim Everett, the great, is here, and I'm sure he wants to talk about his Rams. But looking at next week's game, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we know the Rams are going to get blown out, man. We're just going to whip them lamb chops, man. That's what I'm going to say.
Whip them lamb chops. I love it. And so let's go to some breaking news when it comes to the Niners taking over, good old SoFi Stadium. Let's go to that right now.
Levi's Stadium.
Okay, this comes from Nick Wagner. He writes, the 49ers fans expected to occupy 62% of SoFi Stadium on Sunday per Vivid Seats fan forecast. It's also the hottest ticket of the week on their ticket market with an average price of $348. So guys, like I said, if you want to go to that game, go to SeatGeek.com, buy some tickets, and use promo code Dre Area Sports to save $20 on your ticket purchase. That's a beer right there, maybe 2.
Oh yeah. Oh. And definitely for the same thing with me, the SeatGeek, use the promo code CG Ruthless and save yourself $20 also, man.
So you're buying 2 tickets. If you're buying 2 tickets, you use my code, use Chris's code, and you're good to go. You save yourself $40. That's lunch right there.
Yeah.
Now you're good to go. But I love the fact that when we go to LA, we basically take over that entire stadium. And I love that image you posted. I was trying to find it where it says Levi South.
Yeah, I think I have the image. I'll probably send it to you tomorrow.
Yeah, but they hate it though. The Rams fans absolutely hate the fact that when they go there, it's just a big takeover, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Well, I did like a TikTok video where I actually do like a little part where I'm like telling them, well, you can still stay here, but you have to clean up the mess when we beat you guys.
Yeah, I mean, shit, that works for me. But oh no, what's this? Okay, so it looks like here. Let me just pull this up. Oh god, that's a video. Never mind. I thought it was an image. Here, let's go to this right now because we have some more breaking news that just got posted maybe about a couple hours ago. So let's go to that right now. Okay, right here it says the ship is sinking and taking water fast. So earlier in this video, which I'm
half full, at least that means
I don't want to play that video. The Rams placed offensive lineman Jonah Jackson and safety John Johnson III on injured reserve, sidelining them for a minimum of 4 games. There are no current plans to place Cooper Kupp on injured reserve. So there was talk about that, and we can actually pull that up right now. So Cooper Kupp has a high ankle sprain, and he will not be available for the game on Sunday. That's a huge break for the Niners and a big loss for the Rams.
And no Puka, too. So that's
No
a difference.
Puka.
I mean, the only thing they have as their hope is Kyron Williams. That's all they have, but he ain't going to have an Alvin Kamara game.
No. Hell no. And
Nah,
then
we're
there's
good.
another injury that we need to discuss. I mean, we talked about their safety Johnson who's going on IR. And there's a whole list of injuries for the Rams. I was trying to find the list. I know Ryan G. Hensley posted that
Steve
2 days
Avila's
ago.
on there. I think Steve Avila's on the injury list, if I'm mistaken.
Dude, like everyone's on the injury list. It's so bad. It's to a point where you're like, dude,
Majority of their offensive linemen except one starter. I don't know if I think it's only one starter that's on their lineup.
so let's take a look at that. So here is all of the injuries, which is like, holy cow, dude. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee. That's 3 of their main offensive weapons gone. And then they have 3 offensive tackles, a guard, another guard, a defensive lineman, Darius Williams, or Darian Kendrick as well. It's just a mess over there. So I think the Niners, it wouldn't surprise me if at the start of this game, the Rams come out really aggressive because they're going to try to get a lead early. That's going to be their plan probably. And I think defensively, they're going to come out with a lot of intensity because, I mean, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like at this point, you're so decimated. You got to try to come out really hard. But as the game goes on, I think they're just going to fall apart and they will not be able to stay with the Niners. But the amount of injuries they have is just, it's insane. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's really insane. It's like they're on the disabled list for right now. But okay, speaking of their offensive linemen, it's so bad, bro. Like most of their offensive linemen are going to be Jake Brendel and McKivitz out there. And then you look at their secondary's dinged up right now too. So guess who they just signed?
Who'd they just sign?
Ahkello Witherspoon.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ahkello.
Play him.
They're probably going to have to. You remember last year when McCaffrey broke that run and then chokeslammed him at the end?
Yeah. I think Ayuk's going to have a good game for that one.
Oh, I think so. And then another injury just got announced by the Rams. So let's go to that right now because this is big. This is big. It's breaking news. Rampage, the mascot, has a torn MCL. He will miss 8 to 10 weeks. So not only will they be down all these players, but now they'll be down their biggest supporter on the sidelines. Rampage.
Wow.
Has gone down.
They can't catch a break.
They can't catch a break.
They can't catch a break. So let me guess. The male cheerleader is going to be on IR too. Man, come on, man. Come on, LA. You well.
Rampage is like, I'm out.
Oh man, that's just messed up.
And then we actually have some more breaking news that we're going to break to you concerning the 49ers, and this is a big one. Deebo Samuel has a calf strain. He will be out at least, what they're saying, or Shanahan is saying, is at least 2 games. I kind of feel like after this game, he might come back against the Patriots. I kind of feel like he might, but then again, the Patriots and the Rams are such less of a threat to the Niners that they might just let him sit out next 2 games and then come back for the Seattle game, which I think is after the Patriot game.
No, I think it's the Cardinals, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah, you're right. It's the Cardinals. So
I think we're gonna need him for the Cardinals game. Actually, the Cardinals game will probably be more serious because if you look at how Arizona's playing, man, they're looking pretty different.
Yeah, they really are. But how do you think it affects the offense when having a loss of Deebo Samuel?
Well, he would be more of your decoy, but he does more than just catch the ball. He is a guy that can run the ball also. He does a little bit of everything. So that's what you're going to miss with Deebo Samuel. Like a versatile chess piece. Like when you think of McCaffrey, that's the same thing too. So you lost 2 chess pieces. That's like losing the bishop and the knight, right? You need that chess piece with the king and queen, right? And those are the most important. Yeah. But
sorry, I was getting a phone call there. But yeah, no, this is a big loss for them. I mean, obviously he's a game changer. Him and Christian McCaffrey make a huge difference to this offense, and he won't be there for this game. But I do think that because of all the injuries, you can overcome not having both Deebo and Christian McCaffrey. Now, a lot of us are saying that, we want to see Brandon Ayuk have a breakout game. But I think that the problem is that they're going to be trying to double team him probably every play, but they're so decimated that I don't see how even a double team is going to stop Brandon Ayuk. But I think my prediction for the offense is that they're going to run the football really, really hard on the Rams, and they're just going to get rammed.
Yeah, they're gonna get rammed so bad that the city of LA is just gonna have to evict them or something. No, but I think we're gonna get over 200 yards on the ground because if you look at how they've given up the chunk plays, but like you said, they are gonna focus on Ayuk because that is our threat. But I think this is gonna be my bold take for the X factor. I think Jauan Jennings is gonna have a big game.
You think so?
Dude, he's hard to tackle. Like, if you remember the season finale against the Rams when we got to the playoffs, Jennings had one of his best games. I think he's break for another big game, and it's going to have to be against the Rams for this one.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, he's pretty clutch, and I think he had 3 catches last week, and they were all really big plays too.
And I think he's going to be that dependable guy because think about it. Ayuk hasn't had that chemistry with Brock, and Brock seems to trust more on Jennings more. So it wouldn't surprise me.
So let's play a little game here. We're going to play a game called 4th and 1 as we kind of round out towards the end of the show. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to tell me, because look, on 4th and 1, you got to choose to either punt the ball, or you can kick a field goal too. We're not going to include that. You either got to punt the ball or you got to go for it. So I'm going to ask you, are you going to punt or are you going to go for it? First question is, will the 49ers score over 40 points? Do you punt or do you go for it?
I go for it.
And why is that?
Because we should have no problem scoring over 40 points, dude, because the running game is going to be unstoppable, and Brock Purdy's going to have some time having a big game, dude. I think there's no excuses. We should get over 40 points. So 42 points at max would probably be where we go at. Okay,
there we go. Next one is, will the 49ers have more than 2 turnovers? Will the defense get 2 turnovers? Do you punt or do you go for it?
I say we're going to go for it because Stafford is due to throw some interceptions. And I think even with the sacks, he's going to fumble.
I hope so. That'd be great, man. Hold on. I was doing one more. Okay. Next one. Are you ready?
All right, let's go.
Let's go. Here we go. Will Ricky Pearsall come back for week 3?
Punt. He ain't going to be back in a couple of weeks, but it might take him until week 5.
It might. Although he's doing a lot of work at the facility, which is pretty crazy seeing how fast he's recovering. But we do know that Talanoa Hufanga is coming back this week, which I'm so happy to hear because we needed somebody else out there. I think Odom did a pretty good job, except for that play against Justin Jefferson. But I like having Hufanga back out there with Jair Brown.
Yeah, it just makes a big difference. And plus, Odom's just a liability in coverage. But to say Ricky Pearsall comes back for week 3, I say it's a punt because I think they said he should be back week 5, if I'm mistaken.
Okay, there we go. Next question. You punt or you go for it? Brock will throw 0 interceptions against the Rams.
Ooh, that's a tough one, man, because Brock might be a little gunslinger, but who do the Rams have in the secondary? I'll just say we go.
Ahkello Witherspoon.
But we'll go for it. We're gonna go for it. 0 interceptions.
0 interceptions. Okay, you heard it here. The next one. Will J.P. Mason run for over 100 yards?
We're going for it, man, because he already averaging over 100 yards a game, dude. This Rams defense is god awful, dude. You seen how James Conner had a ball game? You seen how Montgomery and Gibbs had, dude? I expect Mason to continue that 100-yard game.
I think so. I don't see how they can stop him. I don't see how they're gonna, like lower the amount of carries or force them to pass. No, I think they're just gonna run all over them. And then one more. The O-line, I'm gonna say the O-line will rebound against the Rams on Sunday.
I think it's not going to matter how our offensive line plays. So I'm hoping they bounce. I'm hoping they rebound. So I'll go for it.
Okay.
Just because it was the Vikings.
Dude, if Ricky Pearsall was able to come back this week, that would have been absolutely incredible.
It would have been nuts.
Oh, we got Seahawks Eddie saying, "What's up, CG? Is your area sports? What's going on, man?" He's saying hi, David Corona. The great JM.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I don't know who that is. Oh, the great GM.
Chardol said he wanted to come on the show. Who's Chardol?
He's some guy from the old Grant show a while back.
Oh, right on. So that's going to conclude the 4th and 1 game. You got Chris's responses to that. Every week we're going to do some more questions and get some more responses out of Chris and see how he sees it. Now, if you ask me these questions, oh fuck, I lost them all. There they are. Will this go over 40 points? My prediction for the score was 38-13, but I'm just going to say yes. Why not? Will they have more than 2 turnovers? Yes. Will Pearsall come back? No. I wish he would. That'd be cool, though. Will Brock have 0 interceptions? I say yes. He will have 0. Yes for 100 yards. And I think the O-line will rebound because they have to. If they have another poor outing, it's just going to be all bad for the offensive line. It's just for everything. It's just going to be a cataclysm of fuck. Okay, so let's go to our last topic when it comes to the Niners and Rams. Put that in there. And let's go to this last little segment here I want to do with you. Let's go to score predictions. What do you think the score will be at the end of regulation for the Niners and Rams game?
42-13 Niners.
Wow. Big time.
We're coming off pissed off with the Vikings game, and and the Rams are beat up pretty badly, bro. There's nothing they can do about it, and they won't stop Mason. And Brock Purdy's going to look efficient as he's ever been.
Dude, it's like I was telling you yesterday. Like they're like your freaking FBS team. They're just like, oh, just take it easy on us, all right? We're just here because we have to be. I mean, especially without what's his name, the fucking Rampage. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Without this guy, what are they going to do? I don't know.
Can they just call Aaron Donald out of retirement?
I know. I'm surprised they haven't yet. Like, hey, can you come back? Just go help us out. My prediction for the score was 38-13. I think the Rams can still score because you obviously you still got Stafford on, throwing the ball. But I'm going to go with 38-13 because I think that once we get over 30 points, I think that Shanahan will just kind of go conservative and just start running the football, and then we'll eventually score another touchdown by default because they can't stop us. So I say 38-13. You say 42-13. Anyone in the chat, if you want to put in your score prediction, go right ahead. But I really see this game as being a rebound game for the Niners, kind of getting their shit together and beating up on an injured, weaker opponent. And I think that they're going to take advantage of this matchup against the Rams.
Yeah. Oh, well, there is a score prediction by Mr. Ram. I live in the world. Like, what does he say? 22-27.
Oh, there is 27-22. That would be if the Rams defense. That'd be a miracle.
Yeah.
Seahawks Eddie says 30-17 Niners. There we go. I like that.
That's reasonable.
I think if it's 27-22 Rams, the Niners have to look like shit the entire game.
Or Jake Brendle's going to have to be benched. Or Jake Brendle's going to have to be benched or something.
Well, with John Feliciano coming back, there's no way that the fans can notice how bad Brendel's been playing, there's no way the team hasn't noticed that as well. So they're probably like, hey, John, when you come back, you're gonna take over for Brendel, okay? Like, okay, yeah. Because they need something.
Yeah.
And then one last thing I wanted to ask you was, there's been talk about the Jets trying to move Hassan Reddick. Do you think the Niners should make a move to try to acquire Hassan Reddick?
Well, we are that kind of team to make that type of late season push. So maybe before the deadline we might make a trade. But is it for Hassan Reddick? Maybe.
Maybe. And if you did that, you would have combinations of Reddick and Floyd, Bosa and Reddick, Bosa and Floyd. I mean, you'd always have two edge rushers at all
the
times.
Rotation would be good, and they'd be pretty good on the rotation. And then they could do the NASCAR package a little bit, which actually bodes well. There's different ways how you can do that.
It gives you an opportunity to give Bosa more rest because you have a guy like Hassan Reddick out there who it's like, okay, you could rest him and have Hassan Reddick and Floyd coming off each edge. So it's not the end of the world. It's actually really good. So I think it depends. I mean, if he's willing to come here and finish out his contract, then yeah. But if he wants an extension, I'd say no. I'm not dumping a whole bunch of money into Hassan Reddick right now. I don't think they can afford it.
No, I don't think they can. And I don't think it's necessary to get him. I think it would be only for a rental.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, that's going to do it for the show, for the first episode of 4th and 1. I want to thank Chris for coming out here and joining me again for another fire-ass stream. Chris, where can they find you and all of your content?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely find me, CG Ruthless. And if you guys are big on TikTok, man, follow me on TikTok. I got over 15,000 followers. Follow me on Twitter on CG Ruthless1. And hey, like he has SeatGeek, man, use the promo code CG Ruthless to save yourself $20, man, on your first purchase. And yeah, man, keep watching us every Thursday, 12 p.m., man. We got you.
We got you. And guys, this video is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use promo code Dre Area Sports to save up to $20 on your first purchase of tickets over on SeatGeek.com. Also, check out BetUS if you want to start betting like the professionals do. Check out BetUS and use the referral link in the description below. And of course, this video is also brought to you by Power Brand Systems. If you're looking for a website for your small business, big business, or your YouTube channel, then check out Power Brand Systems. They're the ones who built my website. So if you go to Nicotina.com, which is the homepage for all three of my channels, that's the website that they developed for me, and they do an excellent job. So definitely check out Nicotina.net. That is the homepage for all three of my channels, including Dre Area Sports. We will see what the Niners do on Sunday. Both of us believe it's going to be an ass whooping, and that's what the Niners need is a solid ass whooping on the Rams. And I think that's what we're going to get, dude. We're going to go to 2-1.
Hell yeah. Or 2-1 for sure. Yeah.
2-1 for sure. Chris, thank you. Thank you to everyone else who came out here. We'll see you next week. Peace.